Alrighty, here we go. This is my Flamethrower perfect run attempt. So first stage, nothing complex. I'm just going to run through and shoot shit until I get to the actual Flamethrower. So because we want to do a Flamethrower only run, it would make sense that we do have to technically have a perfect run, because anytime I die and I lose the Flamethrower, then how can we really justify that as only Flamethrower? I'll use the spread just until I get this one. Obviously I didn't have to do that. I could have found other ways to get the gun, but... So Flamethrower is unique, similar to the spread. It's the only one that can actually hit things that are on a different plane or a different level than the gun barrel, which makes it kind of useful in some situations, but it can also make it kind of a nuisance sometimes too, because if you want to try and hit something and you can't aim properly, occasionally it can be a pain in the ass. It also has the distinction of being the slowest gun in the game because of the little twirly twirl it does. Notice you cannot refire until it actually clears the screen. So if you fired it manually, then yes. So if it was just this speed, it's actually pretty sweet. You can just rapid fire all day long. But if you have turbo controller, it does that. So if you just did a moderate speed here, if I crank the speed way down from my auto fire button, it might actually be more useful. But I don't want to do that. I like having my fast speed for my other guns, and I'm not going to switch it back and forth for various games. So you can stand pretty much anywhere and hit stuff on this boss here. I could have stood down here and attacked without ever even taking damage, but it just takes longer. So we'll just attack away and then down it goes. If you get the rapid fire, both of the base levels, because of the abbreviated shooting distance, actually makes the Flamethrower very, very quick. Actually probably one of the best in the game that you could have. So notice how quickly that goes. It's actually pretty sweet. So as far as killing things on the wall, the Flamethrower may actually be the fastest, with the exception of the hyperspeed spread that you would have. That's about the only thing that would be faster. Actually, I think rapid fire on the regular gun is actually pretty quick as well. They're probably neck and neck as far as speed. I've never really counted the frames or anything like that. It's not really my thing. But I just know from trial and error that they're both pretty quick. So the boss isn't overly difficult. Just find yourself one of these dead zones. I could just stand here and not get hit by it, but I like to just play it safe. This one here I can just sit and shoot. The final guy, you do have to time it out a little bit so that you can try and hit with the bulk of your shots. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Otherwise you could just stand and spam your shots. It doesn't really matter. Alright, the waterfall, you can do this one pretty much the same as you would with the spread. Just keep jumping, just keep shooting, and you'll eventually kill everything that moves. Assuming that you're aiming in the right spot. Well, I know where all the guys are going to be, so I know which way to be shooting. Make sure you stop here, avoid getting shot. The body armor shot can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to the timing, especially with the Flamethrower. If you miss body armor, it's not the end of the world. You can get through this phase pretty easily, I think, because not many guys are actually shooting at you if you're jumping. So you have a little bit of flexibility. And then I'll just shoot this guy from afar so I don't accidentally run into a bullet. The boss isn't any more difficult than he already has been. It's just a little bit slower because of the aiming. If you run into an instance where you shoot way across the screen like that and your thing doesn't recharge, it can be a little bit of a pain waiting for it to come back. But if you just run around a little bit, they will eventually both come down right here, and you can hit them. And just pick your dead zone and fire away. Again, we could time this out, but the time it takes to time it out and try and do a perfect shot like this here is a waste of time. Just sit here and fire away and you'll kill them eventually. Base number 2 is no different than base number 1. Get your rapid fire if you don't have it already, and just start pounding away. So rapid fire actually does come up in one of the rooms here. We can get another one, but we're actually doing pretty good here as it stands. Always be on the lookout for barrels, and always watch yourself for stray bullets coming in. So I'm going to shoot the left side first because my rapid fire comes from the right side. I don't want to accidentally kill him. Looks pretty much the same, so the rapid fire is probably already in progress, so no difference there. Alright, this next one here requires the jumping. I always wait for the first 2 guys to clear, and then try and kill it before that last guy comes in and takes pot shots. I get hit by him plenty of times, just because of bad timing. Just like this here, timing was a little bit off. They got some shots off before I could run back, which is never a good thing. Alright, so this boss here with the flamethrower is not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. I think this may actually be the hardest boss in the game with this gun, because it's super hard to hit those stupid little orbs that are floating around. And on top of that, you have to deal with the ads that are out there and the gun recharge. So if you can get this first turret out quick enough and maybe not auto fire on the regular shots, you'll have a little bit faster gun recharge. So removing the auto fire is probably a smarter one. Just shoot slower shots here. You'd be a little bit more likely to hit those orbs because you can kind of get a continuous stream. Like I said, it's not a fun boss. You want to try and keep a steady stream of fire. If you keep a steady stream of fire, those orbs are likely to run into it. But yeah, always focus on the orbs and not the main guy, because the orbs are the things that are going to kill you, not the guy. So if it takes you longer to do the boss fight, fine. But if you're trying to do a speed run, obviously you want to kill the guy as fast as possible. For me, I just wanted to get through without dying, and that means watching out for those orbs and not getting hit. So with this stage here now, stage 5, really we just have to watch out for stray bullets. The stage itself isn't hard, the boss isn't hard, but what's hard is these guys that are running behind you and start shooting like that guy did on top. You get these random bullets that are coming across and you don't see them coming, or you get stuck in a spot where you can't avoid them. That's what we're trying to avoid. So always be ready with dodge and always be ready with duck. That's the name of the game on this stage here. You have to always be able to dodge that fire. There's another flamethrower there had we died. Let me get my rapid fire and my bomb. Bomb doesn't really do anything. I kind of wish we could actually save the bomb and use it for another time. But alas, that's a request that'll never happen, being that the game is 30 years old. If you're a little bit slow on the trigger finger, this here can be a daunting fight because these things will come after you and they will get you if you're not careful. It can be done with just regular, no auto fire, no turbo type controller. You can beat it. It gets a little bit scarier, but I'll show you that it can be done. So this is manual fire here. If you have a good rapid fire finger, like if you're familiar with button mashers, you should be able to get it before he kills you, but as I said, it does get a little bit scary there. And that is the case with every single gun. You can kill that guy with every single gun without dying. Even though it looks like, you know, the deck's stacked against you for some, but they wouldn't make a section that you couldn't beat in a game without dying. That would be kind of cruel. Alright, so this boss here, you can't really do the 2-second method where you just jump up and auto fire. My preference for Flamethrower, do it in 2 phases. Take a couple hits and then kill the ads. Be careful not to auto fire too much so that your thing's not on cooldown so that you can't shoot when you turn around. Still pretty easy boss though. There's no flamethrower in energy zone, so if you die here, it's the run is over. For the most part. I mean, we can get the flamethrower back in stage 7. But common sense would say just don't die. And the stage isn't hard. It just requires you be thorough. Make sure you're not getting hit from behind by guys. That's most likely where people are going to die, is getting hit by bullets from behind, or when you're ducking to shoot something in front of you and a guy runs up behind you. For the most part, these flamethrowers should not be a problem. You can dodge them pretty easily, and then for the second phase you'll actually have body armor, so not a real issue if you're smart about it. Here we go. So for this phase here, because of my slow gun, it's probably better to just not shoot, but I have a habit of always having my hand on the trigger finger here, or hand on the trigger. But I want to make sure that I don't get hit by anything from behind. So this boss here is actually not too difficult with the flamethrower as long as you stay close to him so you don't run into issues with the gun not being able to fire. Remember to always do the double jump maneuver, as I call it. Assume that there's always 2 discs that are coming. Like that. Even if there's only one, and he should be dead. Oh, I thought I had him. There he goes. Okay, so stage 7, had you died up to this point here, stage 7, if you've used the Konami cheat before and have just gotten through the game, stage 7 should be familiar with the flamethrower because you actually get the flamethrower right at the start of the level. So many people that have used that 30 lives cheat are going to be familiar with getting this right from the start. So using the flamethrower on this stage shouldn't be anything new for people that have been here before. So again, just watch your 6, make sure nobody's running up behind you and shooting, especially if they're doing ground shots where they're on the ground. If you're spamming shots forward too, that's the other thing. You want to watch that they don't come up behind you there too, because when you're on this elevated platform, sometimes it can be tough to hit them when they just jump up there. Alright, so I'm going to let this guy clear a little bit so I can get on here. Alright, we'll run like the wind. Kill some guys. And then when you get up to this next phase here, it's usually best to just stop shooting. You don't want to accidentally get another one of the power-ups. But I managed to get by without it. Fun fact, you can't kill the ones behind here without killing the one in front of it. I don't know if it's because you're shooting from behind, or if it's just got infinite health until you kill the first one. but it is kind of a neat little fact. Alright, so last phase before the boss, basically watch for guys behind us. And that's the big thing. Because when you shoot these turrets, you have to duck, and if somebody comes from behind, you gotta be quick about it. So it might make more sense to do non-auto fire, so that you can quickly turn around and shoot. Otherwise you do auto fire and you get one of those long ones, and then you can't turn around fast enough. Like that, with those little guys coming. Once you get up here though. So this is the fastest boss in the game. It's a little bit slower with the flamethrower. If you get stuck where you have to shoot behind to start with, it can be bad because those bottom turrets might get a shot, or somebody else might run up from behind and get you. Okay, so the final stage here. It's pretty important that you get the body armor. But you can beat it without the body armor. The thing with the body armor on this one is it's kind of a tough shot with the flamethrower. So make sure you time it out properly. Alright. And then we just fire away. As far as the rest of the stage goes, really just slow play it and make sure you kill thoroughly. You know, don't shoot too rapidly where you're going to be at the risk of not being able to shoot again, because you need to be able to have shots available to hit these things, because those little guys are a real nuisance. Let the spread go by. Alright, so nice thing about the flamethrowers, it can hit those guys even though they're not on the same plane. Alright, we'll try and get a nice angled downward shot here. And actually you have to be pretty good with your jumps here too. I mean, I've jumped in the pits many times, and it's embarrassing. Son of a bitch. Well, that was anticlimactic. That is really disappointing because we were right here. We were right here. I am very upset with myself right now. Well, we almost did a perfect run with the flamethrower. So we had 18 minutes of perfect run, and then one stupid little face hugger got me. All because I just wasn't ready for it. I probably should have just stopped and took stock before I got on there. But all in all, I think it was a pretty successful run. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit yourself the like button, maybe subscribe, maybe leave a comment, maybe suggest a future video. Any of those things would be helpful. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a good day.